Hey guys, Ryan Groth here. Welcome to this week's video blog. I've been a little absent the last couple of weeks. I've been quite busy and doing some things with my business, but I've been stirring and brewing with this next content. So I want to talk about feedback and how feedback mechanisms help govern high performers and how high performers create feedback mechanisms for their lives to help them grow. However, feedback in and of itself is always, can be very subjective very often, right? You know, if you ask somebody for feedback about your sales, but they have no clue what high performance sales looks like, that's gonna be very bad feedback, right? So you gotta think about the feedback mechanisms, the voices, the measurements, and make sure that they are correct, and that we couple them with feedback plus a standard of elite, right? Elite standard. So it's really important, sorry for the glare here, it's really important that when we have feedback, it's also coupled with an elite standard, or else we won't know where up really is, what it looks like, and what needs to change to get there. So if you guys know that, you know, I'm pretty fanatical about optimizing different areas of my life, and every time I move the needle, it's always a little bit of a mountain. You know, I have this mountain over here as kind of like a prophetic image of every time that I climb one, I'm always looking at the next one because they always make me better. They always make me stronger. I never look back and say, well, daggum, I wish I never went up that mountain. Every time was an amazing experience, and I grew leaps and bounds above everyone else that's, you know, walking around the mountain or going downhill and being lazy. So one of the areas that I've been really big on and learning about is the importance of recovery. And so I've been getting this Oura ring. So here's an Oura ring. I've talked about it before. And this measures my sleep. It measures my readiness score every day based on my sleep consistency, my REM, my deep sleep, my previous day's activity, my heart rate, everything. And what it does is it tells me basically my number out of 100, what my daily readiness is and my sleep score. So yesterday I got a 94 out of 100. That was my highest. But before then I was always stuck right around the low 80s and the high 70s, and I really didn't know why. So what I did was I learned that, man, you know, my house is too hot. So when I cool it down, it helps me sleep better. You know, make sure that I turn off blue lights. And so now we mimic the sun. The sun goes up, we get up. The sun goes down, we wind down. You know, I've been doing a lot of different things to change my habits. And one of those things, also in addition to exercise, which I've already been doing, is finding out that, you know, I know that the things I'm eating is causing some kind of a friction and it's not helping me be optimal. So I finally went and got a traditional Chinese medicine doctor in South Florida to do a blood test and basically consult with him on how to get to that elite level of health. Because I know when my health is super high, right? My energy is high. I am not distracted. I don't have any like kryptonite around holding me back, and I can be really focused and really, really effective and efficient. So what I did was I went ahead and I got a blood test and a urine test, and I got back these results. And these results show all the foods that I have a high enough allergic reaction to that I need to stop basically eating them for 30 days and let my body recover and then reintroduce those back into my diet. And unless they have a really high allergic reaction, then I'll just stay completely away from it permanently. And these test results blew my mind, and I love it. And it had me thinking I have to talk about feedback with a standard. And so because of the standard of what allergic reactions are, I went ahead and got, I think it's like 50 foods that I can't eat. And so I can't eat almond, apple, asparagus, banana, whole barley, basil, bay leaf, you know, green bean, white bean, beef, red beet, blueberry. I mean, I can go on and on and on. I'm talking like I'm limited to a few select foods for 30 to 60 days. And I've already been doing that. I stopped drinking coffee, stopped having tea, no caffeine. And I feel amazing. And guess what? My readiness score, my sleep score spiked. And now I'm like hovering in the 90s. Versus I was always in the high 70s and low 80s. But you know what? People are afraid of feedback. But you know, feedback is the breakfast of champions. But feedback in and of itself without an elite standard is just hocus pocus. So I've done other things to govern my life around feedback, and I think you should too. I mean, sleep, food, relationships. I have, counselors in my life that I go and I ask them based on standards of our faith how we should be doing our relationships. And that helps me bring a standard and gives me feedback when I need to grow with my relationships, with my marriage. Emotions. I also have a program that it's free. It's part of what I recommend people to do. It's called the Enneagram. And what I love about the Enneagram is it not only just tells you how you're wired personality-wise and behaviorally, but it tells you what the healthiest version of yourself looks like. And that's helped me emotionally grow into that level of that standard, right? So feedback is so powerful, and we should have constant measurements around our life to give us feedback with the standards so that we can optimize, because our body wants to divert and be distracted. It's very elusive. Our mind is very elusive, and it's easy with all the stuff in the world to lose focus. So if you didn't know, I have a sales evaluation that I use and I perform on every one of my clients, and every one of my clients use them as well for recruiting future candidates. And what it does is it actually measures sales competencies. And these selling competencies are proven over 30 years of data of what is going to equate to sales success, and what are the competencies that make somebody really, really good at selling, and what would hold them back from being not so good at selling. And so when I use this, it gives me an objective viewpoint. When I did it myself, I was like, oh man, there's a couple areas that I know I need to get better. And I'm so grateful for this, because that's unlocked more for me and it's helped me really grow. So I just want to talk about that. Make sure that if you have feedback in your life, make sure it has elite with your standard. Make sure that you know what the best in the world looks like when you are getting your feedback, or else it is just, it could be completely baloney and it could be really unuseful. So when you're doing feedback with your business, make sure you know what are the best in the world doing. What's the best in the world doing in hitting and baseball and shooting and basketball and, football and your speed. I mean, why do you think they do the compounds? It's so powerful to see what the standard looks like. And guess what happens? People who are real champs break the standard and they set a new bar. What happened when the 4-minute mile came, and everybody believed that it could happen. Now that somebody broke it, everybody's done the 4-minute mile. It's all up here, and feedback is the speed map, speed road. It is the acceleration path to elite, is getting feedback. And that takes guts, and that takes openness, vulnerability, honesty with yourself, and no blame shifting. So anyway, this is food for thought. It's been on my mind for a few weeks, and I've been so inspired by how I'm growing through feedback mechanisms with an elite standard, okay? And that's part of what people get in my community. They get a high standard of expectations of performance. I'm in several groups that I surround myself with to set the bar high and then get the feedback on what I need to do to get better. So anyway, this is Ryan coming at you from Sales Transformation Group. It's been quite a bit, and I'm glad to be able to share this with you today. Go surround yourself with feedback mechanisms. Go make sure the standard is clearly in your face. You know what needs to get out of the way to get better, and go get better. So anyway, hope this is inspiring for you. Like, share, comment. Have a good one.